Hi, I'm Stephen Hann from Archery Supplies, and today we're here to look at the Perform X 3D. Now I've set this bar up with a complete target set up this morning. So I've got my back V-bar, back side bar, 34 inch front bar, axle, achieve sight, 6x scope. Now this is a scope I use for indoor archery. I've put in a small peep, and this is the one up from the smallest, so not the micro, the one up from that. And I've got it on a Spot Hog Premier arrow rest. So I've pretty much set it up. It took me about an hour to set it up this morning to do this video. Now I've adjusted the draw length. Now on the Evolve cam system or on the Perform cam system, you can adjust the let off and the draw length. It's really easy to do. Basically you've got two screws there and you just move it to the letter. Now basically A's the longest. I've currently got it set on D, just there, top and bottom. Now this is a twin cam bow, so you do what you do to the top, you do to the bottom. Now on this bow you can also adjust the let off from 90 to 80%, or you can buy let off another set of modules which cost roughly about $100, I'm going to say, which just bolt on. They look the same and they go from 75 to 65% let off. And how you adjust the let off is just there. I've actually moved it forward, so basically it stops before the valley, if that makes sort of sense. So you've got a big valley you're going to sort of hit. It's basically stopping at the start of the valley, so I'm hitting at 80% let off. Now why did I do that? Because I shoot about, with my Xpression, I shoot at about 65%. So I didn't want to change the whole module of this bow. I just wanted to set it up for target and see how well I shoot with it. Now this bow is a 36-inch axle. It's a shoot-through riser design. So this is a single block of steel alloy that they machine out. This takes four times as long to make as a normal compound bow. In 2018 they've changed the cable guard, so it's carbon and it's kind of machined out there to cause it to flex. You've got the ability to adjust how much it's sort of in and out. It's a roller cable slide. Now in 2016 when PSE produced the Xpression, I said the cable guard looked pretty cheap and nasty. It was plastic and it flexed in. In 2017 they changed that to a carbon rod which was angled in, and for 2018 they've improved that further. Now it's the same cable roller as 2017 they're using here. I'm just going to pull this off. So easy to pull off, that's it there, a roller sort of setup. Now you can get with the roller setup here, so it's two rollers there and it runs on two rollers here. You can get wear on your cables. Now if you are getting wear on your cables, just serve around the cables. Some people do, some people don't. I did have a lady say her son's Carbonair that I sold 16 months ago was getting wear on the cables, and she demanded warranty for the set of cables. Now no bow has warranties on cables, but if you are getting wear on that, do serve it. I probably serve about 40% of them. So I just take the strings off, chuck a set of serving around the cables there, and I don't have any wear issues. So I mean, it's up to you. My strings, I don't know if I'll do it myself. My strings will tend to last about 3 to 4 months with the amount of shooting I do. I will compare how much wear I get over the cable guard, over the cable slide compared to the rest of the strings when I'm shooting this bow, to determine whether I'm going to serve this or not serve this. So I want to go through some of the questions I get asked. So one question I get asked is, should I go for the 40 inch Perform or the 3D version, which is 36? Now the 36 inch, which is from axle to axle, the tip to tip is actually about 3 inches longer. So this bow tip to tip is actually 41 inches. So the Perform, which is 40 inches, is going to be, it's 5 inches, is going to be actually 45 inches. Now, I don't know the difference. I really don't. I've just always chosen the longer bow. What I did notice when I was setting my draw length today, when I was setting up, I'm 28.5. I set this at 28.5 and it felt too short. So I moved it to 29 and that's where I'm shooting. And that's the advantage with PSE. You just rotate this module, you can shoot it, you can feel it, you can see what it's like. And I like that feature. Now the Perform itself is actually quite a heavy bow. It's about 5 pounds in mass weight. So the common question I get asked is, am I going to shoot better with a Perform versus the bow I currently shoot? I don't know. I really don't know. Because there's lots of factors there. I mean, I had a group of customers, husband and wife. They brought a new archers. They were older. So I'm going to guess 70, there's no disrespect to them if I'm wrong, buy a new bow, and they brought a Hoyt Prevail, which is a heavy bow also. It's basically the competitor to this bow from Hoyt. Now that's not the bow I'd recommend. It's too heavy for a beginner. Same with this bow. Unless you're going to shoot all the time, I don't know if this is the bow for you, because I'm putting on a stack of weight here, I'm putting on a bit of weight at the front here, I'm adding weight to this bow. So if I'm shooting all the time, fair enough. But for juniors, people who want a lighter bow, I'm not sure this is the bow for you. But if you shoot all the time like I do, this should be a bow you consider. Now, as I said, this is a twin cam system. So you have 2 yokes, one at the top and one at the bottom. Now the yokes on this bow connect to the cam, so you can't twist the yokes to affect the cam lean, where if the yoke was on the side, you actually could. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. PSE would say these limbs are balanced, so there is no cam lean. Hoyt, what they did with their 2018 version is they've got this system for one cam and they've got a yoke on the other cam, and I'm not sure what that's about. And when I say I'm not sure what that's about, I'm sure it's about marketing. But you either go, well, it's good to have cam timing, or it's not good to have cam timing. I don't know. Now, back in history, when they originally had twin cam bows, the concept of getting away with them was cam timing. So if the wheels aren't timed, then you get a lump when you pull it over. So it's important with the twin cam system that the top and bottom wheel are timed at the same time. Now, it's also important on a twin cam bow that the top and the bottom limbs are stressed at the same amount, or an amount to stop you moving when you aim up and down. So back in the past, back 20 odd years ago, we used to tiller tune our bows. Now I'm not suggesting that, but it's something I would look at with this bow. And tiller tuning is just adjusting the poundage on the limbs, top and bottom, like quarter of a turn top or quarter of a turn bottom, to see where you shoot the highest scores with. Now with the previous 2017 PSE Xpression and certain cam and a half bows or single cam bows, that's not applicable because it doesn't really affect the poundage, because the way cam systems work, it basically flexes the limbs evenly all the time. So that's something to consider. Now with the Evolve cam system, it's a very smooth cam to draw, and I'm going to draw this and we're going to shoot an arrow. Now the Evolve cam system was released in 2017 on the Carbon Air and the Evolve 35 and the Evolve 31. It became a very popular cam system for PSE, and hence they introduced it on their target bows. And the question is, when you're forking out the big dollars for an Evolve cam system, is it worth it compared to the hybrid cam system or a cam system like the Supra? So I'm going to talk you through the draw cycle of this bow. So now the first thing you'll notice is I haven't got this bow, the bow's not balanced. And normally what you're going to get at a club, you're going to say balance your bow. Now the reason I haven't balanced this is there's another school of thought which says don't balance your bow, put a whole bunch of weight on this side and you'll actually aim better. So I just thought I'd chuck on a whole heap of weight and see how it goes. And I have tried this before and I did get success. and sometimes I shoot V-bars, and sometimes my bow's balanced. I've shot perfect scores with every combination, so it still gets back to aiming the thing in the middle of the target. So let's just take a shot, and I'll try and get in camera view. So it's easy here. This feels, the start of the draw feels like nothing. It's really nothing. Now what's amazing about this bow, the Perform, this IBO speed on this is 338, so it's as fast as a hunting bow, and it's a target bow. It's, to me, that's just amazing. So let's have a shot. So I get back, oh sorry, I let the thing down. So the valley is not, some bows, I'm going to say the Matthews TRX, and the competitors for this bow by Matthews is the TRX, obviously, and the Hann Comp, the Hoyt Prevail. The drop off into the valley is not as severe as those bows. It's quite easy, and I'll just demonstrate that. So it's building. It's pretty easy. That's the peak just there. Dropping, stop. So with some of the bows and blade rest, as you're drawing it back and you get into that where it hits the valley and just drops off suddenly, people's arrows will bounce on the rest. I don't really feel that this dropping off. It's a very easy draw cycle, and that's what made the Evolve really popular, and that's why I think they put the bow, it's one of the reasons why they put the Evolve on the Perform. Obviously the other reason they put the Evolve cam system on the Evolve is for the speed. The speed increase from the Xpression is going from 315 to 338 or 336, which is a huge increase in speed. So let's just take the shot. Now the first thing, even though this bow is heavy in weight, when I've got the stabilizers on, I've got it balanced, so it's pretty balanced from front to back. It's a little front heavy there, but I find as I draw it, that kind of evens itself up. The bow doesn't feel heavy when I'm actually holding it, and I've had probably 5 people in my shop shoot this bow, and I'm going to say all of them liked it. I'm pretty sure they all said this is the best bow or target bow they've ever shot, and they have shot all the, I'm just thinking of the people who have shot the bow in my shop, and I'm pretty sure they've shot all the other target bows on the market. So, and I actually sold it to most of them, so the Perform's still not even built. Now it is windy here. Right now it's pretty windy, so I'm hoping the sound's okay. One of the questions I got on one of the forums, people asked, is how does this bow aim? So let's just aim it up. Now what you should look at is the end of my stabilizer here, and how much that stabilizer moves. So I'm hoping that went in the middle. So for me, basically my dot of the pin normally sits around the 10. At the Nationals it was bouncing all over the place, and my scores reflected that. I did have a series of good shots at the Indoor Nationals. I think I had 15 X's in a row where they just sat there, but I did have, it was just nerves, my hand was bouncing around the place. I find this bow sits easier and quicker than the Xpression. Definitely easy to aim, easier to draw than the Xpression. There's less vibration than the Xpression. So how does this compare to the other bows it competes against? We'll start off with the Matthews doesn't have a shoot-through riser. The only other company that has a shoot-through riser, obviously the Hoyt Prevail. There are a few other companies, OK, which do a shoot-through riser. I think even Ben Pearson does one. Bowtech does a semi one where it's bolted on, I think. Like, it's not, I don't think it's fair to compare a shoot-through riser with a non-shoot-through riser. The advantage of a shoot-through riser is it's meant to increase the stiffness of this riser. It's meant to improve the balance compared to a normal riser. So if you're going to compare this to like the Elite bows or the Matthews, it's probably better to compare it to the PSE shoot down to those bows, which is a $1,600 bow as opposed to a $2,000 bow. Because to make the bow, this requires so much more work. I don't think there's much of an advantage to a shoot-through riser versus a normal riser. But for myself, I like the 40-inch riser. I do acknowledge the extra work which goes into a shoot-through riser that PSE's made. Now the strings are interesting. The strings on these are the PSE live wire strings which PSE make on a computer. They put in heaps of twists into the string. Like you can see, I'm hoping you can see how many twists there are. It's like almost fully chopped out with twists. Now what PSE, in their testing, they found that by twisting up heaps you get less peak rotation and it makes the strings more stable. It may create more wear, I don't know. That's just interesting they've gone that way. So I'm just going to move this so you can see the end of the stabilizer. So how do I find this bow to shoot? I find the draw cycle the best of any bow. So I find the draw cycle the best of all the bows. And when I was talking about all the bows, man, like Martin produced a cool cam system with the Kestrel cam or whatever they called that. That was a smooth drawing cam system. That was a really nice cam system, but not this speed. And that had a few issues. This cam system is good. Now there is an issue, so we're going to sort of touch on that. If you derail this cam system, now on the Evolve last year I sold a whole heap of Evolves. I had, I'm going to say 2 derails, I think. 2 derails. One was okay, I think. I had to replace the cams. The other one, when he derailed it, the cam came in and hit this little metal bracket here. So when the cam spins off, this metal thing came in and hit the cam. Bit of a bugger. So yeah, it's 2 derails, 90% let off. Basically, you derail it, you're probably going to replace the cams and the yokes. So, but most bows you derail it, you're going to rebuild it. And I was talking to a dealer today, a Hoyt dealer, and he said in his shop today he's got 2 Hoyts which have been derailed, which have to be fully rebuilt. So it's pretty consistent across all the brands. It's just nice that he was honest to me, because I was like, oh, that's cool. I get probably 1 derail every 2 weeks. So that was blown around a fair bit. I think the riser, this is called the Dark Cherry. I think this riser just looks amazing. It comes in a whole bunch of colors this year for 2018. and they've just released a custom option where you can get the insides here coloured. So I'm going to get the colours wrong. I think they can do a dark cherry with black inserts, and they've got blue with silver inserts. I think the US price is $150 for a custom option. Like, it's up to you if you want to spend the money, but like, it is fairly windy here. If I had hair, you'd see my hair blowing. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is the setup of the bow. Sorry, allergies. So when I line up the string with the center of the riser, and you've got the cable stop down here, which is now made out of carbon, and you've got a little, this is interesting down here, this little spot here for the rear stabilizer. That's actually a bushing, so you can't really strip it out, which is cool. The cheaper models don't have that. So when you're looking at the $2,000 model, you know, you're talking machine limb pockets, you're talking all the latest, greatest stuff. Whether it's worth it or not, that's up to you. It depends how much you shoot. But there, I'm going to line it all up. So everything's dead down the center, right? Now I'm going to try and put everything in the center. Now I'm going to try and zoom up. Please bear with me. Try and stick the arrow up. There. There. Now what I'm trying to show, what I'm trying to show is when I shoot, my sight is normally on the left hand side of the arrow. Now other people say, oh, that's because of the cable guard and it pulls it across. Yeah, I wish. Nice concept. I believe there's a theory for it, which is something to do with the angles you're shooting. But my recurve, my sight is way to the left. Pretty much every bow I shoot is way to the left, and it depends on the person. It could be to do with the width of your face or something. Now, there has been, I think the Igniter's straight down the middle, I think, but I'd have to retest that. There has been one bow I've tested which has been straight down the middle, which is called a Martin Vegas edition, where the strings sit either side of the thing, so there's no cable guard. That was straight down the middle. But then Martin produced another bow called the Hellfire, which had a twin yoke system, which is meant to balance the cam, so no cam lean, so it's meant to be straight down the middle. That was the other way, so like by a huge margin. This, I'm just going to line it up. Well, the scope's out to the left, but it's by a little bit. Far less than the Xpression. Now I don't know what that means, but I know customers, I have customers who worry about it. I don't worry about stuff. I just shoot. I just bang, 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 lots of arrows. I just shoot arrows. But yeah, this bow is not as far left as other bows I've shot. So I've got one arrow left. So my evaluation with a full target setup on the Perform. Now I did shoot the Perform with a hunting setup at home with no peep, no stabilizer, and I was going to do a video on it, but the sound was so bad that I pulled it. Now I did 5 arrows which were good, and 1 arrow actually missed. When I say missed the target, it shot a red. So I'm not gonna, like, when I say bullshit, I'm not trying to say, look, this bow is going to shoot better or not. To me, the draw cycle feels really good. There's no vibration in the shop. It's faster than other bows. The adjustability is really good. I love the adjustability in let off. I love the adjustability in draw length. Means if I go to sell this bow, I can sell it to anyone and they can use it. The weight to me is a factor for beginners and whether the people can hold up this. I don't have any issue with this bow as far as weight. Now I'm going to go back to 2 years ago when I brought my Xpression, because that's what this bow is. This bow is going to replace my Xpression. Now when I shot my Xpression for the first time, my indoor scores with the Xpression out of 300 were 285. They were far less than my Dominator scores, which were averaging around 292. And I said to PSE at the time, look, I'm really struggling with this bow. I don't, what is it? I'm struggling. And they said, stick with it, you'll get over it. And I did. I shot my best scores with that bow. I shot all my 300 scores have been with that bow, so all my perfect scores have been with that bow. But it did take me time to get used to the extra weight of the bow. Now this bow is about the same weight and I'm not going to have that issue. I find the draw cycle better. Now it doesn't have a limb stop that the Xpression has. The Xpression has the option of fitting a limb stop to the top cam to create the solid back wall. Now for me, I'm shooting back tension, so I tend to pull pretty hard in the wall. This bow feels solid, and everyone who's tested it has found this bow to be solid as far as the wall. It doesn't want to jump forward out of your hand like some of the other bows. I find there's less shock, the speed's good. I find the bow easy to shoot. Now, I'm just going to walk up there to the target and we're going to see what the group's like. To me, this bow feels better to shoot than the Xpression, and it feels better than the other bows I've shot. This to me feels like, and I'm not saying that because I've got a PSE shirt on, this feels like the best target bow I've shot, and it feels like the best bow I've shot, full stop. The Carbon Air for 2017 I think was the best bow of 2017 due to its weight, the draw cycle, the speed, adjustability. I think that was the best bow. I think what PSE have done with this bow, they've taken the Xpression, which I think was probably a little bit behind the Hoyt Prevail and the Matthews Helen Comp and the Matthews TRX, and they've just jumped. They've gone, look, we're behind here, we need to make an improvement, and they have. They've got rid of the vibration. I think it looks good. Whole bunch of new colors. The dark cherry looks awesome. The cable stop obviously has been replaced from the metal to the carbon, which is great. PSE have just fixed up all the bits. The limb graphics there, they look cool. Overall, only one speed dampener, speed thing. That's, to me, that's amazing. Because in the old bows, they used to put a whole bunch of weight down here to try and increase the speed, but with PSE they've obviously found, well, you only need one, so that's pretty interesting. So I hope that's answered all your questions. I don't know short versus long, which one I'm going to shoot better with. That's trial and error. Let's go down there and sort of see how these are. Look, there's one arrow out. Well, sorry, there's two arrows out. There's that one and that one. But I'm shooting, it's pretty windy. And I am moving, and that's literally my first 7 arrows at 18 meters, and some of those were a little bit further back because I moved back. My sights aren't quite perfectly set yet because I'm still sighting it in. I'd shot before this end 4 ends, so I've shot 20 arrows with this bow with that setup prior to doing this filming. I think the bow is substantially better. I honestly do. Now if you're not a PSE dealer, it's a bit unfortunate because I was talking to a guy today and he's not a PSE dealer, and it's a bit of a bugger when you're not and you've got bows like this which are so good. And you can't compare them. But as far as I'm concerned, for me, I've been shooting a lot of recurve in 2017, and I've been shooting pretty good compound for 2017. I've been really happy with it. for 2018, I'm so excited to be shooting the Perform when it comes in, when it's made, to see how well I can shoot with it. I really think it's the best bow for 2018 out there. As far as downside, for me, I'm not going to derail the bow, so the whole derailing thing's not an issue. I think it's an awesome bow. I really do. I think PSE have hit it out the park with it. I'm going to shoot it tomorrow at 50 meters, so we're going to take that setup at 50 meters. Now, you're probably going to ask why I'm not shooting this bow already. It came in, this is a demo bow that PSE sent across for us to test and show. It came in at 50 pounds and I shoot 60 pounds. So I've shot it. I didn't really want to spend time setting it up and shooting it when I had figured there'd be a Perform here at this time for me to shoot. But as far as I'm concerned, like, I'm extremely happy with that group. I just think the bow's so easy to shoot. I really do. To me, it's an issue for people when they say, well, should I buy a secondhand Supra, which is $800 versus one of these, which is $2,000? That's up to you to make that choice. The Supra shoots awesome. The Xpression shoots awesome. Look, you can even shoot well with a PSE Stinger, honestly. It's just, this is the bee's knees bow, and if you're spending heaps of hours shooting and you want to shoot highly competitive archery, as far as I'm going to enter nationals, I'm going to enter big shoots, you just want the best thing in your hand you can get, regardless of price. And I think that the Perform is the best. And I'm going to have to shoot the Perform, not the 3D version, the full Perform, to see how that shoots. And the thing which gets me about this bow, and I know I'm waffling, was at the Nationals I watched Alex Whiffler, and he was shooting the Xpression on day one. On day two, when the release of this bow happened, he swapped. Mid-Nationals he swapped to this bow, and everyone mid-competition switched to this bow. There was a 3D shoot on, which Stefan Hansen was shooting. He switched to this bow on the day he was allowed to. All the PSE pro shooters switched this bow the day they were allowed to. And I think they switched because they've been testing this bow and they found this bow to be better. And for me, what I really like seeing for 2018 with PSE and the Perform was all the staff shooters are shooting stock standard Performs. So for me, that's ultra cool, because in the past there've been people shooting non-standard PSE bows or non-standard other bows, and it's like, well, what is that? They were shooting stock standard bows and they were getting unbelievable results. Stefan Hansen was just 150, 150, 150 in his qualifying. Perfect score, perfect score, perfect score. I mean, I'm really excited to see what sort of scores I can shoot down range with this bow. It's very, very cool. And I will be getting the longer version, but I am going to shoot this bow, the demo one, for a few weeks and see how I shoot at distance with it. So when I get the longer version, I can actually compare the long and the short, and I'll do a video comparing the long and the short. So I'm Stephen Hann from Archery Supplies. Thank you for watching. That's the PSE Perform at 18 meters, set up with the target setup. Thank you.